Collin, how are you first off?
Good, thank you.
Just an easy one kind of out of the gate for you. So if you had to build your ideal match play player out of the 12 guys you have on your team here, who would you pick to drive the ball, hit the iron shots, short game, and putting? And I do want to disclose, you can throw yourself in there.
Okay, yeah, I saw this question asked yesterday, so I kind of prepared, but I kind of didn't.
It's kind of cheating.
Well, that's your fault for asking him before. I'd probably go Cam because he hits it the farthest. Irons, I'd probably pick myself. Actually, no, I'm going to give it to JT. I think JT has incredible control of speed and distance. So I'm going to pick JT. I'm going to go Jordan. No. So let's see. Short game, I'm going to go Pat. And putting, I'll go Jordan.
Okay, great. That's all I got.
Yeah.
Thank you, Collin.
New. 2 weeks old.
Okay. Just off-season testing or what?
So ever since the end of senior year, kind of spring senior year, I switched to a longer putter, a little more upright. Was standing tall. I mean, if you look at when I first turned pro, I was still standing really tall. You know, like even with all my putters. Switched to the claw grip or the saw grip, and felt good for almost a year, right? And then I just kind of got out of sorts, and like heading into playoffs, it just never felt comfortable. And sometimes you just get in that little route of, you know, when you're not comfortable, nothing's going in. I mean, that's how you build kind of just seeing good results is confidence, and that confidence wasn't there. So I switched to conventional during postseason, during playoffs, and then kind of the few weeks after that, talking to a few guys at home in Vegas, playing a lot, and just kind of noticed how they were putting, watching them, and I just wanted to try something different. So I went a little flatter, got my body a little bit more relaxed, and I was able to kind of have that rocking feeling that people always talk about in putting that I've never felt in my life, which is a weird thing, but you know, it still is a test. I mean, you know, I wish I'd figured this out earlier, but I mean, with us, it's nonstop. You know, it's go, go, go. So we're used to kind of trying and putting in new things early on, and it just sits really nicely for me. And hopefully, I can just kind of take it back and let it go from there.
So is the new putter just mostly because of the setup adjustments?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it was because of setup adjustments. I went to the Soto rather than the Juno. I wanted the look. And then I was just messing around. I messed around with like 3 different necks just to kind of see how my hands sat, even if they were at the same lie angle, and go from there.
Different top line on it as well. Usually you go with the single sight line. Now you have the dot on there.
Yeah, we just haven't had enough time to kind of get the line perfectly how I want. I think with where my eyes are sitting and how it's sitting down, I think we might have milled it in a little bit too deep. And just the way the angle sits when it's sitting down, or my eyes look at it, it's not like, it doesn't look as straight as it should be. So that's just something we'll mess around kind of after probably this week. But it was, they made a bunch of putters, and that was never a thought. It was more about like, let's get this right, looking good and feeling good in my hands.
So no Tiger inspiration there?
No, but you know, hopefully we can putt like him. That'd be nice.
And then is it a different length than the previous one?
Yeah, it's a half-inch shorter. Okay. So half-inch shorter, just everything's more relaxed. I mean, everything before was just way higher. Just everything was so rigid, right? Like now, and you know, I look at some of my favorite putters out on tour. I mean, it doesn't mean you can't putt like that. I just think for me, you know, I haven't seen the consistency that I want. So this is a path that, you know, just kind of popped in my head one day, and I was like, let's roll with it and see what happens.
How's the fade going? You got complete confidence in it? It's still a work in progress?
It's definitely back.
Yeah.
Playoffs, it felt a lot better. I mean, I did a lot of work the week before Memphis, and I was able to put together maybe, you know, let's call it 2 to 3 rounds throughout those playoffs every tournament. Problem is we play 4-round tournaments, and I gotta show up, you know, and it kind of showed. So I'd say overall, like it's feeling really good. And after playoffs, I made even more improvements to get it back. So I'd say we're really close. It's just kind of now seeing the results. I mean, seeing results obviously boosts your confidence. It's how do you just kind of jump that ahead and just say, you know, what we're doing is right, and hopefully what I'm doing is right.
What's the hardest part? Is it getting it started where you're looking, or is it more having it just end up where it needs to end up? I mean, there's a difference there too.
Yeah. look, I mean, when I'm hitting the fade, I know what my misses are going to be.
Right.
Right, and that's what I didn't know for a good majority of this year is that I didn't know where I was missing. But these cuts have been coming back, and they've been starting online, they've been finishing online, and it's how I've seen it. It's just I couldn't see that before, right?
Yeah.
So there, when I show up to these holes, you see it a certain way, and if the ball's not doing that, there's a reason. And thankfully, they're matching up a little bit better.
Has it been anything with the clubs or the ball too? I mean, we know the balls fly so much straighter, and that's part of the problem sometimes too, isn't it?
No, I mean, I didn't make any changes. It's really just kind of me, my swing, and my body. Just kind of figuring out small things. I mean, the amount of videos I've watched since college, on my phone, on all these plane flights and everything, all these off times, just a lot of video watching. Sometimes it's really hard, and thankfully we figured something out, and it kind of kept going on and crept on to other things that we can find.
The putter is something that had a variety of different approaches to since you came on tour. Wondering, how has your perspective on your putting game changed? Do you see a lot of growth there, or are you just kind of changing things as it goes along?
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea for me is to be consistent, right? Like I've been able to show that I can get hot and I can putt well. The problem is, it's so far it's been sparingly, right? It's been here and there. It might be one good round, but it's not over a course of a tournament, or it's over a course of 2 tournaments and then it kind of disappears. I just need to become a little more consistent putter, and a lot of it has to do with my speed and just kind of nailing in those 5 foot and in putts. If I'm making more of those, that's going to be so much more beneficial on every aspect of my game. It's going to take ease off chipping, it's going to take ease off lag putting. But at the end of the day, that's what I'm trying to do, is just become a consistent putter. And, right now we're making a switch and we're trying something new. And, I did it with the saw grip, say, a year and a half ago, and it worked out. And hopefully we're heading down the right path as well.
Are you someone who usually gets first tee jitters?
No, I mean, to be honest, I was more nervous on my Walker Cup. I think my Walker Cup, golf-wise, my Walker Cup tee shot on 1 was the most nervous I had been, even compared to last year at the Ryder Cup, which is weird, but I think now knowing what we do and, being able to represent our country a couple times here and there throughout, amateur golf, it's just such a big honor that, we just want to come out here and win. I'm going to try and do everything I can, put every piece of effort into winning. So when you're out there on that first tee, for me, I'm excited and I'm ready to go. So it's how do you calm that down? Not just, not really the nerves part, just the excitement.
Is there a strategy you have for calming down?
No, I think it's just talking to yourself, talking to your caddy, just going through your regular routine. When you're that excited and that jittery and that, off the charts, you kind of just have to go through your routine. And normally that you end up skipping your routines. But if you just take, 1 extra second, it helps a lot.
Is there anything else like that in golf, like that experience of walking to the first tee in a team event?
No, I mean, not in a team event. We only get 1 a year for at least the U.S. guys. There really isn't. I mean, they're so different. I think the coolest thing when you have these team events is that, guys are willing to share, maybe a secret here and there that they normally wouldn't. Unless you're best friends with them and you've kind of played with them every single day, you just get to hear a little bit more about how everyone does it. And it's always nice to hear. It's refreshing. I love asking all the captains, how they've done it in the past. I mean, Stricker has been teaching us how to chip, I think, for the last 2.5 days. So, and it doesn't mean that's the right way, right? But it's just another perspective that we can look at. And I think that's the biggest thing, is that we can just kind of bring all this knowledge in and just help us. And it's been really cool, of a week to hear that.
Statistically, you're one of the best from 200, 225 approach shots. How do you set up your equipment to effectively the ball from that far onto the green, keep it on the green?
That's nice. I don't know. I really don't know. Let's see, 200, so we're talking about 5 iron and out. I think it's just gapping of distances. I mean, at the end of the day, I think from that far of a distance, I mean, if you put it within 25 feet, you're hitting a great shot. We're not pin seeking as much as we would per, say, I mean, I like 8 iron, so let's say an 8 iron from 160. I think when it comes down to it is just feeling comfortable with the clubs you have, right? So when you go out and like I've got the P7 MCs with a 5-iron, and then I've got a 770 4-iron, and it's all about gapping everything and make sure you have all these gaps. With the 770 4-iron, I can't work it as much, but that allows me to go for par 5s, and that allows me from 230 out to aim at the middle of the green and hopefully just be able to miss a little bit here, a little bit there, and we're finding middle of the green and having good distance control. And then I've been able to add a 5-wood in kind of over the past year, and I think that 5-wood's like cheating. The thing goes straight up in the air, and the wind doesn't touch it as much as you would think. It's an amazing club. So you know what? I don't know. I think maybe because I hit it shorter, maybe I have more 200+ yard shots out. But to be honest, I think anytime I have an iron in my hand, and even that 5-wood, like I feel very comfortable, especially when I'm swinging well. And I don't treat it like anything else. I just treat it like another club and figure out where I want to hit it and kind of know the dispersion. I think that's the biggest thing, knowing where you're going to miss, and you can kind of get away with those, ones that look bad and end up all right.
With the split set, like blades, cavity backs, how do you decide exactly where to make that cutoff?
Yeah, for a while I had it all the way up to 6-iron with the blades, and then put in the 7MC. I put in the cavity backs for the 6-iron, so now I've got 6 and 5, and then I've got the 770 for the 4. A lot of it has to do with height, like height control and trajectory, kind of off the face, launch angle. There's a certain window I like to see, and with a blade, obviously it's not as forgiving, but it doesn't, for me at least, it doesn't launch as high. And it was kind of cool. I went to the Kingdom last week to mess around with some putters, and we were messing around with some irons, and just going through. I've never, I'm known for my ball striking and my irons, right? But I've never really gone in depth and learned about why a certain iron does what it does. I changed into those cavity backs, into the MCs at the Open last year, because it felt good and I can find center face, but I wanted to know why. So, we finally were able to kind of deep dive into figuring out why, and that's what's kind of cool, is that I learned so much about drivers, because our drivers, change every year. You learn about wedges. I've been able to learn so much about the grinds, but I never did that about irons. So for me, it's all about launch control, seeing it out that window, and if I can see it out that window, that's what it does. So when I use that 6 and 5 because it launches out of a better window. And from that distance, it's nice to kind of err on the higher side just to get a little more height on it.
What lob wedge are you going with this week?
The Tiger, TW, TaylorMade, MG3.
I have a question about the PGA 2K game.
Yeah.
So this is the first time you get to be in a video game. I didn't know if you played the old Tiger Woods games growing up. So what's that mean to you? And was that something as a kid you thought, oh, this would be awesome to be?
Yeah. When I got the offer to be in the 2K23, I had to say yes. You can't say no. I think the coolest part, it's not even playing yourself. I think for my friends it would be cool to play me, but I think the coolest part is really putting on the suit and going through the process of what other athletes have done, right? So when you've seen other athletes put it on for basketball, right? It's they do what they do, and then you show up in the game, and sometimes it doesn't end up exactly, but putting on the suit and having all the dots and having everything capture all that, I think that was the coolest part of the entire process. But obviously the game came out great. I was able to see it during Eastlake when they had their little event there, and it's an honor. It's really cool, and never would have thought 25 would be in a video game for sure.
So if you're firing it up with your friends, are you playing as yourself or Tiger?
Oh, I'm definitely playing as myself. You can't. That'd be bad. I think that'd be bad, for me if I didn't play as myself. But I'd want to play as myself. I don't want to play as anyone else. Yeah.
And so another thing is Autumn Soulsby was out. She was following you around for a little bit. I guess she was telling, and I was talking with her dad about a moment you guys had at the drive chip and putt contest. So if you want to talk about that and maybe talk about her and how cool it was to have her following you.
Yeah, I remember when I was heading over for the Masters this year, and I was watching a little bit of the drive chip and putt, and obviously she had her story about being adopted, I believe, and just everything she's gone through, and that just kind of, for some reason, I thought it was an amazing story. I just thought, what a sweet kid. She smiled so much, just loved being there. And it's so tough to see so many kids like that, because look, we got to talk to the Junior Presidents Cup team, and you do all this, and you can just tell certain ones that like enjoy what they're doing, and that's hard. It's hard when you have so many goals ahead and you want to accomplish things, but when you're not enjoying the moment, it pulls you out. So it just kind of resonated with me. So I think it was one of our practice rounds. I had saw her off the kind of side of the ropes off one tee and just wanted to say congratulations on, I think she won, right? And just wanted to say congrats and introduce myself. And they reached out saying they were going to be out here. So it was pretty cool to see her still with a smile, massive smile, just having fun. That's what it's about. There's so many things that we can get distracted with. It's good to see that perspective.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Collin, how does the team and the country aspects of this tournament affect kind of the emotions you're feeling when you play out there?
It pushes us. I think it pushes us to just be our best. And anytime you're able to put the red, white, and blue on, you find that extra little gear that sometimes you're looking for, on a Thursday or Friday or, another regular PGA Tour tournament. You just want to do your best and you want to get that point. You want to do whatever it takes to get that point. I mean, that should be the mentality when you're out there playing. You should do whatever you can to get that birdie or get that par or whatever it is. But now we've got, other guys, not just the other 11 guys on our team. We got caddies, we got teammates, we got captains, we got family. It's not added pressure. It's just a bigger team that we represent. And you want to do everything you can to just represent them well. And it just doesn't stop there. It goes on to the fans. It goes on to everyone else that's watching and rooting for us. And it's one of the most exciting things you could have and do, as a professional golfer.
Collin, if you think back to the Ryder Cup last fall, you guys opened up a pretty big lead on Saturday. What was the mindset of the team to kind of avoid getting complacent when you're in that position?
I think Pat said to get to 20. I think we got to 19, right?
Yeah.
But I think our goal is to get to 20. So I don't know how many we had to win to get to 20, but look, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, the goal is to win, but sometimes you have to set your goals differently to push guys in a different way, right? Get that mindset that everyone should have. So, I think for all of us this week, it's just get the job done in every single match. Whatever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, go win that point in that match. But I think when it comes down to that, it's the same thing. We knew, we were very close to winning, right? We had a lead, but let's go get to 20. Everyone needs to do their job to get to 20. And this is the most competitive guys, that I've met. I think all professional athletes are competitive, but when you put us, especially golfers who are so individualized, when you put us all in a room together, we're so self-driven that complacency really isn't a thing unless everyone just keeps saying this and this and this. But I think in the heart, we all know that, it comes within us and we push ourselves to be the best for sure.
I was going to ask, is there like a bragging rights type situation among the 12? Earn the most points. Don't be the guy who earns the fewest points.
No, I mean, I'll speak as a rookie last year at the Ryder Cup. Obviously, I'm a rookie here, but it feels a little different. As a rookie last year, I was like, man, I hope to get a point. Let's just get our point, right? So when I won the first match, I'm like, okay, here we go. We got our feet wet. Let's keep moving. No, there's no bragging right. At the end of the day, we just want to win. There's no other feeling like it. I mean, you get one of these every other year. You don't want that to drag. And do everything it takes. Kiz.
Where is he? He's over there. That doesn't surprise. He was talking smack when I was just talking to him.
Exactly. I mean, it's Kiz. He can do it. He feels comfortable, and that's what's great. I think everyone feels comfortable on this team, and when you're able to have that, guys kind of bond. It's a lot. The flow of things just go. No one's uncomfortable. No one's kind of hiding behind the curtain. Even us young guys, let's just kind of go with the flow and just keep moving on.
You guys giving him a hard time about being the old man in the room?
Yeah, but he knows it. So the problem is we keep giving him. If we keep giving him a hard time, he's just gonna take it. And he's gonna say oh, look what I'm doing at whatever. I don't even know how old he is. He's probably not even that old. So,
38.
yeah, I mean, like,
it's all relative.
I mean, he's 38 and Cam Young's the youngest guy. So, I mean, that's only 13 years. I mean, it's not that bad.
I love hearing how much you guys love this whole team aspect of it, but because this is such an individualized sport, what's the biggest challenge? Going from being an individual for so long throughout the year to now doing something where it's all about the team.
I think the biggest thing is just really when we're out there, like, playing different formats that we're not used to. But, you know, at the end of the day, I think all of us practice. We all play best ball. I mean, we're always playing at home 2v2 matches, right? Alternate shot, I would say none of us ever play, other than when we're here. But I would say that's the biggest thing. I think at the end of the day, like, we still need to hit our shots. We still need to do what we do to get prepared for a tournament. And the captains do a really good job kind of just pushing aside as much as they can to make sure we're sticking to our routines. You know, that's the biggest thing is we've got our routines down from when we show up, you know, on a Sunday or Monday at a tournament. Obviously with, you know, team events, you have team outings, you have team meetings, you have dinners, you have all this stuff, but they do such a good job, you know, last year at the Ryder Cup, this year here at the President's Cup. You know, Stricker and Davis Love, my two captains, have done, you know, they get a lot of credit for making our lives a lot easier on these weeks and just allowing us to go out and do what we do best is play golf.
I won't say a name, but I'm going to ask you this. Your playing partner.
Okay.
What would they say is the best part of your game that you bring to the team aspect? And then what would you say about them? What is their best?
I mean, that's so sneaky.
No names, but I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, that just gives it away, I guess.
Maybe not.
Well, I mean, I think people can say my best part of my game is my iron play. And the other person, they're just a great looking guy. Good luck figuring that. Yeah. Good luck figuring that one out. Yeah, that's fair, right?
Okay.
They're a great looking guy. I mean, whoever you assume is going to be a great looking guy.
That'd be like me winning skinniest kid at fat camp. I don't think it's a good answer.
I mean, you never know. There's always a chance.
What are you most looking forward to this week starting on Thursday?
I think just when that energy hits you, you know, right when you get to that first tee. I mean, you're excited when you wake up. You're getting ready. But once you get to that first tee and you're like, let's go, things click, right? Everything's in motion. You're just going. It's flowing. And hopefully you can get in a good rhythm with your partner and start winning some points.
Thanks, dude.
Thank you.
What if you're the best looking guy?
Well, shit. That's a problem.
Alone.
I want a partner. I want a partner. I don't want a disadvantage.
Okay, guys, you have one question.
Yep.
If the PGA Tour and Live Golf ever had a team event, would you play in that?
I've never thought about it. Another hypothetical that I'm not going to answer.
Have you ever looked or had conversation what the 12 best in the PGA Tour versus Live Golf would look like?
No. To be honest, I mean, a lot of those guys, you know, they've gone and they've made their decision, and I've really haven't thought about them. I mean, there's a couple of the guys that I definitely miss having around. But, you know, it's a cycle. You know, I think it's just like anything in life, there's a cycle. You know, golf has a long lifespan. The guys stay for a long time, but there's just a cycle of new guys coming in, old guys coming out, and it's a repeating cycle, but it's never anything I've really given thought of because, you know, I've got a million other things I got to worry about and my wedding. So, yeah.
Who are the guys you miss?
Who are the guys I miss? I miss DJ, I'll be honest. I mean, he's obviously last year at the Ryder Cup, it was amazing, but he's just a good guy to hang around. You know, it's him and AJ, and yeah.
Good guys. All right, I got one more. Yeah. What's Freddie Couples like as assistant captain? Keeps getting invited back. Like, why is that?
Yeah. Why is that? Because he's amazing. I had never met him until last year at the Ryder Cup, and he's just the most laid back, great guy. Has a million stories that he could tell, and not saying that like the other captains don't have a million stories, but he's got 1,000,001 great ones. And it just kind of keeps everyone going. You know, that's the thing. I talk about this kind of flow of the team and just everyone feeling comfortable. You know, he just kind of keeps that vibe going. And it's just so it's so nice because it takes you away from everything. It takes you away from 12 best in the U.S. playing at the President's Cup. You know, these are things you dream about, right? And he just takes it to a surface level of like, you know, we're just here hanging out as guys, really good at golf, and let's go play, right? You guys are freaking good. He loves seeing great shots, and we love pulling them off for him sometimes. But he is really a good guy.
What's the story he's told you that you've gone and told like your friends? Like, I can't believe I just heard that.
Yeah, I heard one this week, but I'm not going to repeat it. So.
Okay. All right. With that, thanks, Collin.
Thank you.